93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video. Let's talk about Kell Brook, where he should go from here. As you already know, Kell Brook is taking a loss. He is taking his second loss in his career. It's a TKO loss. It's a back-to-back TKO loss. The first loss was against Triple G. And this loss is right after against Errol Spence. People are saying Kell Brook should retire. It is quite difficult, and I have criticized Kell Brook's heart a bit. Not really for quitting while his eye was fucked up, but he kind of quit when during round 6 and 7, his body language was totally different. And I feel like that's when he kind of quit. That particular point is why I question his heart. Not necessarily because he broke his face and shit, but if you break your face and you quit, I have no problem with that. Kell Brook, should he retire? If he has heart, he has to show heart to not retire, because a lot of people are saying that he should retire. Some people are saying glass eyes and shit like that. That doesn't mean anything. He could still come back. He could retire. I think he's made decent money to do what he does. He can come back and fight bums. I guess you could say he can come back and fight bums if he doesn't get the Amir Khan fight. He can try to get the Amir Khan fight. It's best to get a tune-up fight first. Or at least that's what I think. I mean, you got two eyes. You need 2 eye surgeries back to back with both of your eyes. You better to take a tune-up fight. And Kell Brook better not move up to 154, in my opinion. Errol Spence is like a 154 fighter, and the thing is, he's not a KO puncher for a 154 fighter. He's a heavy puncher, pretty heavy puncher for 147. But at 154, people will have more energy throwing bigger punches than they do at 147. When they say more energy, well, they don't have to load up as much as a 147 fighter does to land that type of power. Which means they will have more energy. Sorry, I'm really tired. That's why I'm messing everything up what I'm about to say. Yeah. I feel like going to 154, he has to kind of cherry pick. And I don't even know, he has to cherry pick and everything. I feel like 147 is better for him. Kell Brook, I think, we don't know too much of him, but he might blow up in weight a little bit due to eating a bit too much. Errol Spence said this. He looks a bit too big at times, like in terms of maybe not as big as he should be, keeping his diet and his condition, and he's just keeping himself in better shape. That way it'll be easier for him to make 147, because I'm telling you, 154, 155. People were talking about Canelo versus Brook. Man, Canelo knocked out Khan. Canelo will knock out Brook as well. Canelo's really good, man. People underestimate him, but Canelo's really good. There's no 147 fighter active right now, with the exception of Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't think he's active. He wasn't active, but he was saying he's coming back for the McGregor fight. But Canelo's beaten everyone else apart from him. What's more, at 147, I did say he should take a tune-up fight. And then if he can get the Amir Khan fight, then he should take the Amir Khan fight. At whatever offer that he gets, he should just take it. Because surely it won't be a shitty offer. It won't be too much of a shitty offer. Kell Brook can, if he doesn't get Amir Khan, he should take up fights. I mean, no, he's not going to get a big fight apart from Amir Khan. That's the only big fight he's going to get, pretty much, right? I mean, unless if he does, it'd be a surprise. Kell Brook could fight some of those, and I think this is the best thing to do. He could fight some of those fighters that are not necessarily A level, but like a B or C level. You could say, oh, then people will be saying he's fighting bums. B and C level fighters are not bums. Bums are like those F level, E level, at the most D level fighters, like a Kevin Bezier, like a Joe Jordan, Like, and Kevin Busy and Joe Jordan was actually some of his better oppositions, like Ernie Smith, like many other fighters that he fought. Kell Brook can fight people like Diego Chavez. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't heard of Diego Chavez anytime soon. Jesse Vargas maybe. I think Jesse Vargas would be a good fight. Kell Brook versus Jesse Vargas would be a good fight. I really think. The problem with the Jesse Vargas and Kell Brook fight was Jesse Vargas was apparently asking for too much money. And but since then, Kell Brook has fought Triple G and it made his name more well known. Kell Brook has fought Errol Spence, so it kind of damaged his reputation a bit. But people know him now. And I think in America, more people know him. So what he can do is fight Jesse Vargas, because Jesse Vargas, the fight fell through with Kell Brook. They're trying to make a fight with Kell Brook a long time ago. Kell Brook versus Jesse Vargas. But the fight didn't happen because Jesse Vargas said, I think he wanted $1 million or $2 million. And Kell Brook, if he gave that money, he wouldn't be making too much money himself. I mean, it was reasonable money for Kell Brook at the time, but he decided to not fight him. And, Jesse Vargas' argument was, I'm going out there to his turf, he should pay me some. Kell Brook can now fight in the States, I feel like Kell Brook, this is a good opportunity for him to fight in the States and build himself up. Fight in the States, someone like a Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas has taken the Manny Pacquiao loss. Or get him to the UK if you can get to fight in the UK, but I think it's good to fight in the States. Because you can make yourself bigger there. And Jesse Vargas, I think, he's known in the States. And you're known in the States a little bit more. Now after you fought Errol Spence, and also after you fought Triple G. So, and also, you can make yourself bigger, obviously. By doing that, more fighters are more likely to fight you. So you don't only have to rely on American, but you know what, Kell Brook, to do that is a little bit more difficult. People like Jesse Vargas and Diego Chavez do provide more challenge for the amount of reward. Those are the fairly, they're not the highest risk. But they are very high risk compared to the reward that they provide. But I personally think that's what he should do. Kell Brook should go to that route instead of just waiting for American for a payday. He can fight. I think Jesse Vargas would be a great fight. Kell Brook versus Jesse Vargas. Other than that, who else is there? There's some fighters out there. He could take a Luis Collazo. This would be good. Luis Collazo fight would be a good one, I think. I don't know if he has a fight coming up or anytime soon. But Luis Collazo versus Kell Brook would be a good fight. If he can if he can stop Luis Collazo. I don't see Luis Collazo as you could say it's a tune-up fight. I think Luis Collazo is a bit underrated. But if he could fight someone like a Luis Collazo, if he can outdo American, people will be like talking, back there talking again. And meanwhile, American has to do something else as well to make the fight bigger because they're both taking some serious losses. But that's really what I think he could do. He could fight Luis Collazo, Jesse Vargas. Who else can he fight? He could take a little compromise and fight Brandon Reyes. He can do that in the States. It doesn't have to be a huge fight. As long as it's a decent fight. He has to take a few decent fights. He's already been in big fights. He has to take a few decent fights, preferably in the States. I think because the more people people in the UK will tune in regardless, but more people from the States will tune in. And, boxing's all hype. He has to take a few good fights, look good, and that'd be good for him. And if he takes bumps, it's not good for him because he needs that experience, right, on a higher level to put him to the test. And I feel like these sort of fighters will give him pretty good of a test, but not to the point where it's too challenging. He has to fight these fighters. Those fighters are overlooked, but those fighters give elite fighters the most amount of experience, and you can learn from them the most. Because there's so many of those fighters. Plus, you can't always fight elite fighters all the time. So I feel like Kell Brook needs to fight those fighters. But let me know what you think. What other fights are available out there? I think the Rios fight can happen. I think the Jesse Vargas fight is great. Diego Chavez fight can happen as well, because a lot of people think he ducked Diego Chavez. The fight suddenly became void. He could fight, as I said, Jesse Vargas, Diego Chavez. Luis Collazo, he could do that. I don't know what happened to Soto Karass. Those sort of fighters he can fight. Maybe a Robert Guerrero. because Robert Guerrero's taking some losses. He can come back. I think Robert Guerrero is a fight that Kell Brook can win. Stylistically, it's not. Robert Guerrero's style might not suit Kell Brook, but Robert Guerrero is not as strong as Errol Spence and doesn't have the amateur background of Errol Spence either. And I don't think he hits as hard as Errol Spence either. But yeah, that's all I have to say. 93 boxing. I'm out.